And that's it. We're live. You can hear the music. You can see the countdown.
I messed up the slide though.
Stay on Target.
Yeah, well, I layered it wrong.
Baby, with as much as you do, man.
I am not having a good day today.
That's why we're here to make it better, baby. We're right here. We're here for you.
Yeah.
And if you ever don't like that I call everybody baby, just let me know, baby.
I mean, I'm sure some people are fine with it. Wow, is it just me? Or is the music louder today?
I mean, I guess I didn't turn it down like I normally do. So we're rocking out today. And how do the Broncos stay on target? Mace, perhaps that has to do with the breaking news about Greg Dulcich.
Yeah. Now he has a foot injury. He practiced yesterday, did not practice today, wasn't on the field. We all were kind of wondering, okay, where is he? What's going on? And the injury report comes out a few minutes ago. Greg Dulcich now listed with a foot injury in addition to the hamstring problem that he has.
Man alive.
And he is a DNP, will not play Saturday. And now you start wondering what's going to go on. It's interesting, by the way, the Broncos made another roster move, waiving Ronnie Perkins, an edge rusher who's been inactive for the last 4 games. And I wonder, Cease, if that's a reaction to Greg Dulcich not practicing today, not being available for Saturday, and they need to bump up Lucas Kroll potentially because he's out of practice squad elevations. If he's going to be in the game on Saturday, he has to be on the 53. And with Greg Dulcich available, who's the other option as a pass-catching vertical stretch tight end?
Yep, and we've heard the team talk about him, and Sean Payton talk about Lucas Kroll as well. Like, that's the guy. That's your Dulcich replacement. And no one's madder about this than Greg Dulcich. I feel bad for the kid. Honestly do, Mace, because we know he's a good young man. And, man, he would be an important part if he could ever stay healthy.
It's the problem. The best ability is availability, right? Greg Dulcich has not been available on a consistent basis, unfortunately. This is his 4th injured reserve stint that he's on right now. He's injured the hamstring 5 separate times because there's the OTA hamstring injury last year. There's the training camp that went into the regular season hamstring injury. There's the one at the end of the regular season last year, the one in week 1 this year, the one in week 6 this year. But now you got a foot injury on top of that, what he's dealing with. It's been a star-crossed career for Greg Dulcich, and it's just another reminder that as the Broncos are planning things going into 2024, at the tight end position, I think you have to look at Greg Dulcich and say, if he can play, that's great. It's a nice bonus. I don't know if you can go in with that being plan A.
Right. Yeah. So you'll be making a move there. You'll perhaps be making a move with Lucas Kroll. And you're making a move for the postseason. But the nice thing is that locker room, again, Mace, it feels the same. And it truly is one game at a time. Right. And I know we say that and it's cliche. But you and I have been around enough locker rooms where people start to get a little big for their britches. Yeah, you might even say 48 was like that. I don't want to say it was like that, but 48 was pretty damn special because that was the greatest offense in NFL history. This team, not that, and they're not the 2015 Broncos either, but they're also very steady in their approach.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned 48. It's the second time it's come up in a conversation we've been a part of today because in Super Bowl 50, it was the Panthers who acted like the Broncos in Super Bowl 48. They had all the confidence, borderline arrogance, right? And people who were around the Broncos in 48 and saw the Panthers in 50 recognized elements of the 48 Broncos before Super Bowl 50 and the Panthers. I remember getting a lot of grief on a couple of radio appearances that were on the East Coast when I said, I think the Broncos are going to win this game. And they're like, whoa, people didn't expect the Broncos to win Super Bowl 50, but
right.
Hey,
well, and we remember Carolina that year. They took care of business offensively. They were just owning everybody. And, it comes down to being hot and staying steady at the right time. Before we get into how do they stay on target, I do want to approach the chat room who's asking about both PJ Locke and Nick Benito as well. With the injury report out, Mace, we have more clarity on the situations.
PJ Locke questionable, Nick Bonito out. Which is why it's interesting with Ronnie Perkins being waived. It seems like the Broncos are probably going to go with just 3 edge rushers in this game: Jonathan Cooper, Baron Browning, and then Drew Sanders backing up. We saw quite a bit of Sanders rotating in last Sunday. They're probably going to ask more of him in this game. With PJ Locke, I think you'll be cautious. You just want to see how he reacts. But even though he's listed as questionable, I'd be surprised if PJ Locke doesn't play in this game.
Yeah, PJ Locke is a key for this Broncos team. If we talk about MVP performances, they look different without PJ Locke. So you can have him out there against a team that is multiple in the Detroit Lions. I'm writing up my game plan. I'll be ready tomorrow. We're talking game plan on tomorrow's show, Mace. But this, with all due respect to Jared Goff, like the weapons that guy has, it's almost unfair, comparing it to even what the Broncos have on offense. So they got to be ready.
Yeah, I mean, let me ask you this: give me a number that you think the Broncos offense is going to have to score to win this game. In other words, a number of points that you expect the Lions offense to put up.
I'd say the number is 25. So, and that's an odd number for football, but 24 is probably what they're going to put up.
Mm-hmm.
So you better be in the 26, 27, 28. Like, you better have that, Mace. And if that's not the case, then it's just making it tougher on yourself, because they're at home. Home Goff is different than road Goff. But staying on target is something that this team needs to do, and that's why they're not looking ahead. You and I are looking ahead to the postseason, but they aren't, and I appreciate that for this team and staying steady in that mindset.
Well, if you go through the home games, if we're saying home Goff is different than road Goff, let's just go through the home
splits,
games.
Baby.
Yeah, let's just go through the home games. The points scored by the Lions: 31, 20, 42, 26, 31, 22. So that's 51, 93, 119, 150, and 172. That's it's 20. That's a little under 29 points a game at home. They're averaging 26.2 home and road.
Okay.
But there's definitely a little bit of a split there between home and road. Oh, by the way, if you look at their road games, it's interesting that their 2 of their 3 highest point outputs on the road, you know what they have in common? Games played in venues with a roof. Because they scored 41 at the Chargers and they scored 33 at the Saints. So that's actually really interesting to look at. What is this? So if we throw those 2 in there, and we take the 172, we add New Orleans 205, add Los Angeles 246, and then we divide that by 8. At that point, you're close to 31 points a game, if you're playing in a venue that has a roof of some kind. Whether it's open air like LA or enclosed like the Superdome or Ford Field. So this is definitely a team that likes to operate in a controlled environment like you're going to have on Saturday night. And so as well as the Broncos defense is playing, you're going to give up some shots to these guys. They're going to get theirs in. Does the Broncos offense have enough to counter that?
We shall see. Do the Broncos have enough to at least slow them down? I think tempo as a weapon can be used both ways. And I hope that the Broncos, as the season goes on, Mace, my hope is that we see more unveiled from the offense. Like, you can be limited and you can run the ball, you can try to control the time of possession, but you can't do that every week. And this is not one of those weeks.
Yeah, no. You're going to have to push it a little bit. Now, the Lions' defense is shaky, and this is the thing that does give you a shot here. Can you exploit that? But then again, the Chargers' defense came in down near the bottom of the league in pass defense. Houston came in struggling. And look, you love that last drive against the Chargers, right? when you sucked the life out of them, converted the 4 third downs, and in the beautiful play design on the touchdown to Am Troutman. You love that. But 24 points, and one of those three touchdown drives was a short field drive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Came after a turnover. And so this is where if the Broncos defense gives up yards, that's well and good. The Broncos D is going to have to get some takeaways. Now that can be done. Green Bay did that on Thanksgiving. That's how the Packers took that game that hardly anybody outside of Wisconsin expected them to win and turned it on its ear and made it their game. And so this is where the Broncos D and the pressure that Vance Joseph brings, the type of blitzes that he brings, and we know Jared Goff, Lions quarterback, doesn't operate well under pressure. You needed to generate some takeaways. That's going to be a huge part of whether the Broncos win this game or not.
Yeah. How do they stay on target? They just keep it one game at a time and they keep winning. Something that, oh, what a joy. And Mace, of all the players that you've interviewed, of all the players that I've interviewed, who's better than Mike McGlinchey? Like, seriously, like we've had a few, maybe some favorites of ours, right? But what McGlinchey gives us on a weekly basis is outstanding. I personally can't think of anyone. There may be players a little more, like whenever we talk to Aqib, right? It's like, what's Aqib gonna say? That was the fun part. But man alive, McGlinchey always gives us something good to speak on. Any player you want to reflect on before I play the McGlinchey audio here?
I mean, there have been a lot of good ones. Rod Smith back in the day, I really enjoyed talking with him. Oh gosh, man, I hate to leave people out. Chris Harris Jr. was terrific.
Always good. Yeah, always
good. John Lynch was another guy that I like talking to. Doesn't surprise me at all that he's gone on to have a successful career as an executive, as a general manager with the 49ers. He always had that bright mind working for him, right? He was always thinking over the horizon, which really suits you well as a general manager, thinking 3 or 4 steps ahead, thinking about what's coming down the pike. So I think about that a lot.
We've been blessed with quite a few.
We've had quite a few good ones. And what they all have in common, and Mike McGlinchey has this attribute as well, is that they are thoughtful and they listen to the question and respond to the question. It's a little frustrating when you ask a question and the person responding pivots to make it about, their message. That's when it feels very political. And it's funny that one of Mike McGlinchey's nicknames is the mayor, but he has a way of, he could give a political type response, but he does it while answering the question that you ask. And you asked him a question leading off yesterday, Cecil.
Yeah. What did I ask? Oh, how do you finish strong? So here's what Mike McGlinchey had to say.
I think the biggest key is just to take it one game at a time. I think it's treat every game and approach it the same way you would any other game. I think when you allow the noise of the playoff push, the noise of what could happen 4 weeks from now get in the way of what's happening on Saturday, I think you can get into a little bit of trouble. Obviously, everybody's aware of what's at stake. Everybody's aware of of the position that we're in. But at the same time, you got to be able to put that aside and lock in on your job and what it's going to take to win on Saturday. Because the only thing you can control is going 1-0, and we're going to try and do that, 4 more times.
He kind of starts off in cliche mode and he ends in cliche mode, but then in between,
you got some meat, right?
Yes.
It's like 2 buns and then the hamburger, and you get some good stuff there from McGlinchey. And what's great, Mace, is like you and I collabing on this show, just a behind the scenes note, like we collab on description, we collab on title, we collab on thumbnail, we collab on questions. Not all the time, but what's funny is, and I really love this, I enjoy this, you and I will lead the way on the questions in the locker room. And that sometimes we can even hold court with players, as others may not have a question, which is fine. Sometimes I don't have a question, that's fine. But like, it's really cool to hear this type of insight from a team, because McGlinchey's not the only one that said similar things. Nobody says it like Mike McGlinchey, Mace, but this whole locker room's thinking, hey, it is one game at a time.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, it's one game at a time, but we know that when a season is viewed from the big picture, it's often viewed in quarters, right? It's a little different now when you have 17 games, but when it was 16 games, it was easy to say 4 games, 4 games, 4 games, 4 games. John Fox used to do more detailed film reviews after every fourth game, which is why every 4 weeks his press conference would be like an hour and a half later, right? On Monday.
Yep.
Because he was working on the film review that day. But when you are in a battle like the Broncos are, you can't afford to get caught up in looking over the horizon. It has to be very much moment to moment, right? And look around at the playoff race and how it seems to transform week to week. Look, the playoff race is going to look different when the Broncos kick off on Saturday than it does right now, because the 2 games that take place on Saturday leading into Broncos-Lions, you've got the Bengals, who appear suddenly resurgent with Jake Browning filling in for Joe Burrow at quarterback.
Right.
And Pittsburgh and Indianapolis, they're both 7-6. The dynamic of the playoff race is going to look different.
That Minnesota
6:15
game's going to look
Saturday
different.
game.
Look at how it looks different for Detroit. So not only do the Broncos
Yeah.
have stuff to watch on
Yeah.
Saturday, but look at Detroit and Minnesota. It's like, I don't think Nick Mullins is the answer, but that's a big game.
If Minnesota wins that game, all of a sudden in Detroit, the sphincters start to get a little bit tight. Look, this is a franchise.
I wasn't
that
motioning
hasn't-
for sphincter.
Well, that's okay. That's okay. I'm taking it there.
Okay.
This is a franchise that has not won even a division title in 30 years. Has not had a home playoff game since January 1994. You have generations of Lions fans who are conditioned to believe that the sky is falling, right? Here's an opportunity on Saturday night. If the Broncos can do what the Packers did on Thanksgiving, get a takeaway early, get the Lions rattled. It's going to be one of those situations where Detroit may end up having a home field disadvantage because they're going to feel that tension from all the people in the stands wearing
Here we go
Honolulu
again.
blue. Yes, you're going to feel that, and the Broncos will have a mental advantage that they don't necessarily have right now going in. But you know, this is going to be one of those games. I think the start is going to matter a great deal. And if the Broncos, let's put it this way, if the start of this game looks like it did on Sunday, where the Chargers got an early break, but then they couldn't convert the 4th down, and then the Broncos got the takeaway and turned it into a touchdown. If the first 10 minutes of this Saturday's game look like the first 10 minutes of the game in Los Angeles, the Broncos are going to be in position to pull off a win that I think a few weeks ago not many people saw coming.
It is Orange and Blue Day. Look at this, Justin. It's Justin's birthday. Happy birthday, Justin.
Happy birthday, Justin.
Yeah.
What are you going to wish for? Don't
but
tell us. Don't tell us.
Yeah, don't say it. You can't say it. We'd sing your happy birthday, but then YouTube would demonetize us. Copyright infringement. Anyway.
I can't believe happy birthday is copyrighted.
Isn't that weird? Like,
Yeah.
you notice that on movies where they're just like, they sing something that's not happy birthday. We all know it's happy birthday.
Like, there's a, you know, you come up with a lame version. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Yeah. Or you do the
Yours
Texas
is-
Roadhouse thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, or you do the Simpsons when they go to the Chuck E. Cheese knockoff Wally Weasel. You're the birthday, you're the birthday, you're the birthday, boy or girl. Oh gosh,
Oh,
my daughter
God.
loves that one. Ugh.
That is a good one. That is for sure.
We want to hear from Jerry Jeudy. We have that clip.
Yeah, how do you want to set this up? Because I got the chat room sitting here complaining about Jerry Jeudy. That's fine, chat room. I largely agree with you.
A lot of people are complaining about Jerry Jeudy right now. As you see, I had to replace my reading glasses because I broke the,
Did you break that today?
No, 2 days ago I stepped on it. It's just sitting here on my little desk here in my home setup.
Okay.
So anyway,
Is Jerry Jeudy broken like your reading glasses?
Well, and what I asked, I wanted to ask Jerry Jeudy about the drops and not getting the foot down. This is where, journalism time, how to ask a question that's going to get an answer. If you come out and say, hey, why did you drop the passes, man? Okay, you're not going to get a response, okay?
No.
So I asked him what he took from the film, okay? And that's going to get the response that hopefully has some insight. And so that's what I asked Jeudy yesterday. Here's what he had to say.
What do I take? I just take, just finishing the plays, like that one play, the touchdown, got to drag the foot, the deep post route, just got to secure that catch, make that catch, and that's it. Other than that, I was running great routes. I just got to finish.
He is running great routes. I'm not gonna deny that. That's on the film. We talk about it all the time.
You know what he said, Mace, right there, and you know what he said because you asked the question. He put it on himself. Mm-hmm. I just got to finish the play. He said I.
I saw some really weird responses to that on social media because I put that clip out.
Why?
People saying, well, he's talking about he's not talking about the team. No, he's putting it on himself. He's taking responsibility.
Which is what he should do.
Thank you. That's if I said, okay, what in my mind, Jerry, what response do I want to hear? It's something like that. It's putting it on himself, right?
Yes.
And I'll tell you this: if you watch the way he's being coached in practice, watch how Sean Payton's talking to him. He's got the coaches still believe in him.
Payton still loves him.
I would equate it to these are teachers that know that a pupil has greatness in them. It's how do we get that, right? Mm-hmm. They know it's there. They can see it. They can see the glimpses. How do you reach that point? But we all saw the exchange of Sean Payton and Jerry Jeudy, and Sean getting on him on the sideline. Yeah, yesterday we saw Sean and Jerry talking and laughing together, right? Mm-hmm. They're very invested in Jerry Jeudy. They believe in Jerry Jeudy. I know the fan base doesn't, or wide swaths of the fan base does not. I get it. But inside that building, they believe in Jerry Jeudy.
Right.
And I wouldn't at all be surprised if there's a big play coming or two coming from Jerry Jeudy on Saturday night. I think, I like that response. It's taking it on himself because ultimately it is on himself. It's, that is the one thing that I do like of the Patriots, Bill Belichick kind of mantra, do your job, right? Okay. Don't worry about the other jobs. Okay. If you focus on your task, what you have in front of you, that means you're helping the entire collective. And if everybody is focused on their own tasks, we're going to bring this together. We're going to win, right? And there's more than enough in front of every player to have a lot to focus on when they're focusing on what they do. But here's the thing. There's also that trust that you have to have that everybody else is doing their job too, right? Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And that's where frustration can come in where, okay, you did your job. Okay, this other player let down, but then it's the whole, thing about without sin and casting stones, right? For those, for those who know know those sort of stories. So,
he without sin cast the first stone, right?
Yes, ultimately, in a football sense, ultimately everybody's got sin. I mean, Will Lutz has been perfect for a few weeks, but you go back to week 1, wasn't a good day. And the Broncos lost by a point, right? Every player has been culpable in something going wrong at some point this year. So to point fingers at Jerry Jeudy means, okay, you got to point yourself. Courtland Sutton's having a great season, right? We had 2 fumbles in one game in the disaster in Miami, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody has screwed up sometime. Have some grace. And I think in that locker room, they do have a lot of grace right now in terms of how they're handling it.
Well, and imagine the pressure that Jeudy must feel because a lot of guys are doing their job and he's not. If he had come out and been like, Russ should have put that ball in a better spot, or Russ should throw at me more, and then we'd have better chemistry. He could have easily said that. That's what a lot of people probably think he was going to say. He put it on himself. And we're not Jerry Jeudy apologists, Mace, but I give him a lot of credit for that.
Let's make it clear. It wasn't a great throw. Okay.
Right.
It was not. I mean, Jeudy had to do some major adjusting to get to that ball. And he's lunging, he's reaching out. We're talking about the deep post route that went through his hands on the sideline. Not a great throw, but he didn't say that. Say he's got to make the catch, right? Mm-hmm. He owned it.
Yep.
Wasn't necessarily his fault, but he owned it.
I've got to finish the play.
The toe drag, he owned. He knows that's on him. He does know that one's on him.
Yep.
But yeah. I mean, what do people want to hear? I mean, what I heard from him is accountability. I've got to do better.
That. Maturity. Yeah. We've talked about his maturity, and here's the flip side: that with the coaching loving him, the coach loves him, whether people like to hear that or not. The truth is the truth. Here's the thing, Mace. Now the pressure is on them, right? Because it's now as a teacher, and make no mistake about it, Sean Payton is a teacher.
We heard the whole spiel last week about teaching. Yep.
How do I get the best out of my student? It's on me. I must be failing Jerry Jeudy in some way. He's got to physically make those plays. He's got to finish those plays. But I have to do something to put. And he's got at least another shot. Whether fans want to hear that or not, Mace, he's got at least another shot.
Yep. And if this team wants to be something special next month, they need Jerry Jeudy to make those plays. That's the thing. Believe it or not, they're 7-6. They're 6-1 in the last 7. This team's close. This team is closer than a lot of people might think to doing something extraordinary, right? I think people think you and I are crazy when we talk about this. I don't think it's all that crazy.
Get hot at the right time, man.
Yeah, it's what it's about. It's timing. Good timing.
Like time in a question, right?
I can't. It's not in the background, but I can see it up on the wall. Atlanta Braves, 2021 World Series champions. That's literally in terms of record. That 2021 Atlanta team, the worst team that the Atlanta has ever sent to the postseason in baseball, right? But they got hot at the right time. There you go. Happens. The Giants won a Super Bowl going 9-7. They got hot at the right time. 49ers very nearly made a Super Bowl a couple of years ago, right? They went all the way to the NFC Championship game, lost late, were leading that game for a long while. They got hot at the right time. That's what this is about. It's about being hot and being healthy. So you do need some luck as well. Being hot, being healthy. Broncos are giving themselves a shot. Let's get to it.
It's one shot.
M&M.
Roport asked. Mom spaghetti.
Lose yourself in the music the moment. Never let it go. Mom spaghetti.
Almost had you rapping. Almost. So close.
All right.
Roport.
Any thoughts on Ohtani going to the Dodgers? Oh my God, I hate it.
I'm sorry.
I hate it. Okay, and I hate the way the Dodgers. You know what they use the loophole. Now the interesting thing is going to be, are these current owners going to own the team 11 years from now when they have to start paying Shohei Ohtani $68 million a year in deferred payments? I mean. Is Magic Johnson still going to have his share of the team, or is he going to be just focused on his share of the Washington Commanders or whatever the nickname's going to be by then? Who knows?
Right. Ozzy asked what happened to Nkum. T.I.'s still around. Yeah. We like him. His teammates like him. They talked about it. I think it was Quinn Miners to first bring him up on the scout team, him and Elijah Garcia doing things. So, yeah, the T.I.'s still around. We just wait. He's one of those guys we can wait on, see if there's, some playmaking ability there as a pass rusher. He's not Shaq Barrett, but few people are. So, I still like him. I like you, Mace. I like you a lot. I like you.
God.
Did we brighten your day?
Brighten my day. Does my hair look fine today? I've been told my hair looks fine.
Somebody yesterday said you had the Pat McAfee look going. I was like, Mace needs to do a show with a tank top on, with like a bro tank on, right?
No.
Yes.
I am not. No.
Stand up, bro
No.
tank. I want some bobbleheads.
I'm not doing a show with a tank top. Absolutely
tank?
not.
What about basketball jersey? No basketball jersey?
No.
No?
Okay. All right. I'm going to say something about I have some weird peccadillos being on the spectrum. And one of them is this, okay? I cannot stand like tank tops on guys, okay? I don't need to see your armpit hair. I don't need it.
Coffee.
Keep that covered. Keep it covered. No.
Oh, okay.
No, that's
I got you.
It is my weird thing. I do not like. Yeah, I absolutely will not do a tank top. End of discussion.
Rockabilly Mace. I like it. I like it. Okay, there we go. There's
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's right. Humble and hungry. It's what we are in orange and blue today. And of course, it's what the Broncos need to be. We'll be back tomorrow. Mace, you will be in the Motor City tomorrow for the show, correct?
Yeah, I'm hoping to find a good spot to do the show from. Maybe it'll be a hotel lobby.
Okay.
I don't know.
I said go to the Ford factory. Of course, I'm a Ford guy. I think RJ was making fun of me for that, which is fine. I'll be okay. But like, yeah, I think you should go to the Ford factory.
Okay, I was just gonna go on a 8 Mile Road and get the sign in the background and have a can of spaghetti. But it's not mom's spaghetti.
SpaghettiOs. All right, Mace.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I've got my flight is in literally 3 hours. And
oh, baby, why didn't you tell me?
seconds.
I'm sitting here messing around. You could have told me. I gotta go. Gotta go.
I got it, and I gotta.
I get to the airport 2 hours early before I board.
I am not gonna. I'm hoping to be at my parking spot 2 hours early, but
okay.
Wish me luck.
Okay, yeah. Well, we gotta go then. Mace, you should have told me. He's Mace. I'm Cease. YouTube things. Comment, subscribe, like. Everybody, love you. See you later, and stay frosty.